Hey everybody, it's Brooke from the Buttered Home. Welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. We are happy once again to have you all here with us in my messy kitchen. We have been highlighting some of our favorite recipes for Thanksgiving, and we are going to continue on with that tonight. One of the things that my family loves is mashed potatoes. And now, I know mashed potatoes is like a lot of other traditional sides. Everybody's got a family recipe for it or a good way to do it. This is one that may not be anything new to you, but for some of you it might be. Kind of feel like a school teacher sometimes in the respect that, you know, if I can reach one person with something new, then I've done my job. So while I might not be speaking to the masses tonight, I am sharing something that is a favorite here in my house. A little backstory on these mashed potatoes. They're really just mashed potatoes, but I like to think of them as husband getting mashed potatoes because this is one of the very first recipes that I cooked for my husband. Yes, it's been that long ago. And he liked them so much, he wanted me to cook them for his friends. So one night I had flown home from work and had the potatoes and was in the kitchen and peeling them and everything. And one of the potatoes had a bad spot in it. Have you ever had one of those? Well, my stupid young self didn't cut the potato and carefully cut the bad spot out. I had the potato in my hand and took a paring knife and tried to kind of pry the bad spot out, and when I did, I stuck the paring knife right through the middle of my hand. So learning how to cook is also learning how to cook safely. So never ever try to cut a bad spot out of a potato while you're holding it in your hand. That is not the way to do it. And I forget how many stitches I had. I know it was over 10. It didn't go all the way through, but it went in kind of at an angle. And blood was everywhere. So that is my cooking mishap for the ages, because I have never lived that down. And any time that I'm peeling and cutting potatoes, somebody in this house says, don't cut yourself. So I'll never live that down. For those of you just joining, welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. We are cooking one of our favorite Buttered Home side dishes tonight. It's easy mashed potatoes, and they are flavorful and yummy and full of all kind of calories and fat. So perfect side dish for Thanksgiving, right? So be sure, give us a wave, tell us where you're watching from. If you have any questions, we're going to try to moderate them as we cook. But if I don't get to them live, then I'll be sure and address them as soon as we're done. So we've got some exciting things coming up. We've got a sweet potato side coming up. I tested a recipe for homemade cranberry sauce yesterday, and I think I'm going to be doing that next Monday night. So I'm really excited about that because it was really simple and far better than anything you can get out of the can. And you can do it in your Instant Pot if you have one, or you can do it on the stovetop. Stovetop, of course, takes a little bit longer, but those of you who are Instant Pot newbies, this would be a good thing for you to kind of show off your Instant Pot flair to your family at Thanksgiving. So we'll get started. And what I've done tonight, I made some ahead, so I've halved my recipe, but I'll give you the whole recipe tomorrow. It'll post. So I bought a 3-pound bag of white potatoes, peeled them, cubed them kind of small because I'm gonna mash them up, and then I boiled them in my Instant Pot. You can boil them on the stove and just get them to the consistency where they'll mash really easy. So you don't want to parboil them, but you want to take it a little bit further so they'll mash. So let me just grab those. And I have already drained them. And they're still hot. I've kept them in the Instant Pot so they would still be hot because everything we're going to add to them is going to need to melt. Now this recipe is really simple. It calls for about 2 to 3 pounds of peeled cooked potatoes, and then 8 ounces of cream cheese, 8 ounces of sour cream, 2 tablespoons plus a little of butter, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So I'm gonna move the camera now and let you see what I'm doing. All right, we're good. All right. I just need to see this right here. Is that good? All right, so now you see I've got half of my recipe of potatoes already boiled, and they're kind of hot, but you can just see I'm mashing them with my fingers and they just fall apart. So at this point, we're going to add in just about a tablespoon and a half of butter. And then I have, well, for this application, 4 ounces of cream cheese, but on the full recipe, you would use the whole 8. So there is 4 ounces of cream cheese, and then I have a container. I know how much sour cream is in here, so I'm eyeballing my sour cream for about 4 ounces of sour cream. So here, you just want to kind of melt all of this. Now my cream cheese is room temperature, so it will not melt. I mean, it will melt a little faster. And you'll find if you cook the potatoes long enough, they won't need a whole lot of mashing, because once you kind of mix everything together, they'll kind of mash on their own with the spoon. So at this point, I'm just going to add in about a pinch of salt. And my garlic comes out fast, so you got about a teaspoon of garlic powder. And however much pepper you want. And, you know, a teaspoon is a good rule of thumb of pepper, but, you know, everybody is different. So try to remember that if you're cooking for a big crowd on Thanksgiving, that some people might be sensitive to salt and pepper. It's always better to under-season than it is to over-season. All right, so we've got nice mixture going on here. And I'm just going to mash them just a little bit. Now at this point, it's really just personal preference. You can mash them until they're all completely mashed, or you can leave a little texture in there. It's just according to what you like. But you'll notice there's no milk, and that's because we've got the sour cream and the cream cheese. Now, if they were too thick for you, you could thin them with some milk. But these are actually going to go in the oven and cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. So they'll kind of thin out as all of the liquid that we've added in has dispersed throughout the potatoes. All right. So I've got them good and mashed as far as how I like them. Now, naturally, the best way to do this is to butter your dish. Now, that's all personal preference. So, much to my family's chagrin, I'm not going to butter my dish. I'm just going to spray it with a little spray. And then I'm going to just put them in the prepared dish. And they're already cooked at this point, so you don't really have to cook them in the oven, but they are a little bit better after they sit in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes. And then we just make them look real pretty. And again, personal preference, you can take and just dot a little butter on the top. And you know, I don't usually put more than about a tablespoon on the top, because you just want it to be pretty and have a little well of butter sitting on top. And then one thing that's not in the recipe is I like to put parsley on it. I like color in my food, and mashed potatoes look a little bland. Even though these don't taste very bland, they do look a little bland. So then you just take this and you pop it in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes, just until they kind of get a little brown around the edges and the butter kind of just melts and everything has had a chance to kind of come together. So I have some already made. Ooh, they're hot. And this is what they cook up and look like. That butter and everything has kind of cooked and you have a little browning around the edges. And they've actually kind of, everything has kind of just melded together. So just to show you what it looks like on a plate, I'm gonna dip some out, whoops, and make a mess. And they smell fantastic. Smell fantastic. Smell all garlicky and buttery and yummy. Give me a fork. So there you have the garlic mashed potatoes. And you could call them twice baked if you want to, even though you really didn't bake them the first time. But these are a good sultry addition to any meal. And they're really very easy. To me, they're actually just as easy as making boxed mashed potatoes, even though you have to peel them and dice them up. There's no guesswork in this because it's mainly just potatoes and whatever you add to it. Honestly, with the sour cream and the cream cheese, you don't need anything more. They are perfect just like this. But now some people like to put cheese on them, but you certainly don't have to because these pack a good punch right by themselves. And Tanner's waiting patiently, so I'm gonna give them to her. And then I'm gonna move my camera up. So that is our decadent mashed potatoes. And I wish, Tanner, come over here and let everybody see your face. She had her eyes closed and she had the fork in her mouth and was smiling. So I think she was in a little bit of heaven. But, you know, I mentioned earlier that I cooked these for Danny a long time ago. One of the first meals that I cooked for him when we were dating. And I actually found the recipe in a Farmer's Almanac. So while you don't really think about things like that, but Farmer's Almanac has some really good homegrown recipes in it. And this one has stuck with us for, how long, Danny?
Long time.
24 years I've been making this dish. It's also a friend favorite as well. Every year at Christmas we have like an adult little dinner party, and I normally have to make those for that dinner party. It's a good food gift too. If you got a question?
No, Polly just typed a comment while I was eating.
Oh, if you see a strange comment, Polly, Tanner's dog, just typed a weird comment. She put her foot on Tanner's phone, so that's your treat for tonight. But anyway, we're going to continue with our Thanksgiving dishes starting next week. If you have any suggestions of anything that you would like to see in the future, as soon as we kind of get up to Thanksgiving, we're going to start on Christmas. One of the things we'll be doing for Christmas is we'll be highlighting some side dishes and some heavy hors d'oeuvres. And the reason why we do that is because at the Buttered Home, we have traditional Thanksgiving, and then for Christmas, we have like, not really a potluck, but a finger food / potluck gathering. So that way, not everybody will be doing all of the cooking, so we all kind of bring something. So over the years, Christmas has been a chance for me to experiment on some hors d'oeuvre type foods, and they're really, really good. My brother and his wife are vegetarian, so we use that opportunity to make sure that we have plenty for them to eat. And and hors d'oeuvres are a lot easier whenever you have someone who has dietary restrictions as well, because you can make smaller plates for people who don't have dietary restrictions and make the same amount of food for people who do. So that's just an idea if you're trying to think of something a little easier for your family to do at Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's one idea. That's worked really well for us over the last year. Last several years that we've been doing it, and we're going to continue that tradition. So those are some of the things we'll be highlighting for Christmas. But next week, we're going to do homemade cranberry sauce. And I'm going to try and take the recipe that I have and develop that so that you can cook it on the stovetop as well. In the meantime, be sure to check back here on Thursday. our newest blog post is coming out. And with the cooler weather that's about to come in, I know we have mountains and we have valleys in the south. We had a little cool weather for about 3 days last week, and then now we're back up to summertime, it seems like. But I think this next front that's coming in is going to be with us for just a minute. So you'll definitely want to check the blog on Thursday for our newest recipe. Also, if you have anything specific you want to see, be sure, shoot me a private message. I love for people to take these recipes and make them their own. So I love to see when you make this, post it to the page, post it on your page, and one of the things I want everybody to do is I want everybody to start doing a hashtag MKM for Messy Kitchen Monday, or just hashtag Messy Kitchen Monday. So if you make one of our recipes, post it on our page, and when you post it on your page, put those hashtags in there too, so that you can go in your search bar and put those hashtags in and see what everybody's done with the recipes that we share. Because we typically share things on Messy Kitchen Monday that are not on the website, and we share things on the website that are not on Messy Kitchen Monday. So be sure you check for both places for any content we may have. Again, I appreciate everybody being here. This was a quick, easy Messy Kitchen Monday tonight, but I promise you it'll be the best mashed potatoes you've ever had, and if they're not, I want to hear about it. So we thank you as always for joining us, and we hope you'll be back with us next week when we make homemade cranberry sauce. And I promise you it'll be easy and it might be a little boozy. So check back here and we'll have some fun next Monday night. But anyway, y'all have a great week. Have a very happy Halloween, and be sure and check back with us later in the week. We've got a lot coming up that we're excited to share with you, and we thank you for joining us tonight, and y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.